Hey, this is LoFreak, and today I'm gonna show you how to make a Neuro type of bassline like KOAN Sound, Culprate, those kind of guys. And so here's what it sounds like. And together with some drums and some music stuff. I just put this together real fast, so it's not really, mixed or any good, but just to show you how you can use this bass. So let's dive right into it. The synth that I'm using is FM8, which is a great synth for this complex and weird stuff. Like, I know Skrillex uses it for his growl basses, and you can do that stuff too. But today I'm gonna show you how to make these KOAN Sound weird sounding glitchy basses. So let's go in and have a look. So this is FM8, and FM8 is a FM synthesizer, and by that means it stands for frequency modulation oscillator, or I mean frequency modulating synthesizer. So let's go over here to the expert tab, and here are my oscillators and my filters and stuff. And this is my overview of what is going on really, and what is on and what is not. So I have turned on, you can see these highlighted oscillators here. D, E and F are on, and I can see that too because they're all dried up to 100 here, except for F, who is only at 80. And this is the master, so this means that they send audio out to the master and out to the speakers here. So D, here I can choose my waveform for the oscillator, and D is a TX Wave 6, and I can just click here, choose this. So that's oscillator D. E is I have to do this first, so you can see it. E is an 8th formant, and F is a sawtooth, which is the most basic oscillator really. So what I'm gonna do now is, when you're done that, your FM synthesizer is gonna look like this. And what we're going to do is we're gonna put these oscillators together so that their frequencies modulate each other. That might sound scary or very tough, like too hard for you, but it's not, because it's pretty easy actually. I'm gonna show you how to do it. You just put your mouse pointer here where the oscillators meet, and just pull up. And since I already have all the effects, I can't really show you the difference, but this is what's getting all of the modulated sound bass, like what's really modulating that you hear, all the crazy stuff. It's this stuff. So we just put it at some number here, and in Ableton, I don't know if you can do this in other programs. Probably you should be able to do it. You can make an instrument rack, and you can use these macro controls to control all of the stuff you're using at the same time. So ignore this one, because I'm not using it. I'm only using this macro one here. So what I'm doing is I'm gonna click at FM8 and click Command G if you're using Mac, or if you're using a PC, you're gonna click Control G, and it stands for group. But if you do it on a synthesizer or an instrument, you're gonna make a rack. So then it will look like this, and you click on map mode, and you just click these parameters and go over here and click map. I've already mapped this, so I'm gonna unmap it if you click it now. But then you can see, if I move this, you can see, if you look at the expert tab there, that the modulation is moving, which is what I want. Although, let me see here. I think that here, when you're mapping stuff, you get, this is the area that shows, this is the overview of what I'm mapping. Right now I'm mapping 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 different parameters. Everything in FM8 except for one thing in the wow filter here, but I'm gonna get to that later. I think that sometimes it gets too much when you modulate it all the way. So here you can set how far you want this macro to move this. So I've chosen it to only go up to 43. You can see it here. That this goes all the way because it's at maximum here, but this stops at 43. And that's good sometimes, because sometimes if you have it all the way it can get really messy and noisy and stuff. So that's everything for the oscillators actually. So let's move on to effects here. The effects tab in FM8 is really good, I like it a lot, and I have two effects on. It's a phaser and a flanger, and these effects are very, if you ask me, it's very neuro styled. So I've modulated quite a few things here, like the rate on, let's start with phaser. The rate of the phaser is modulated, as you can see, but it's limited, it's only up to 57. And what I've done here is I clicked on it and went to map mode and mapped it to this. But as you see again, it's only to 57, but it's moving the wrong way. But that's actually what I want. So when I map this, I go, let me find here, modulation, here it is. I go, I right click and I choose invert range, and that way I can make it go the other way because it sounded better because I want it, when I move the macro all the way to the right, I want it to be open and full. The cutoff is going to be all the way, so that's the hard sound, and when I go down here it's going to be muddy and kind of more filtered and a little more crazy, you know, so I can move between this stuff. It's really hard to explain this kind of stuff because it sounds so weird, so it's really tough, okay? So the second thing I modulated here in the phaser is the notch thing here. Pretty simple, I just, no limits or anything, just automated it all the way, mapped it over here. Next thing is the dry wet, and it's inverted like this one, but I haven't set any limits, so you can turn it all the way. Yep, let's move on to the flanger, and as you see, the rate is mapped here too, but with limits. If you want the exact numbers, we can look here. Flanger modulation here, 0.73 and 0.27, and it's inverted too. So that's everything for the rate. I mapped the color too. That's not inverted, but it's limited a bit. You can see 0.26 and 0.67. And also the dry wet is mapped. And I have a little limit here so that it doesn't go down all the way, because I want some flanger in there at all times. And as you might see, it's inverted too. So I know I talk pretty fast and it's a lot of stuff to take in, but if you pause the video and just listen and play it over again, you'll get it all, I promise. Now, that's everything for FM8, I think. So let's move on to the wow filter here. The wow filter is probably one of my favorite plugins. I use it on all these crazy bass sounds. And what I like about it is the simplicity, and you have everything at hand here. Nothing is hidden, it's just everything is there for you, and it's really easy to use, and it sounds really good. And what I like the most is the vowel mode here. So when you get it up, it's gonna not look like this. It's going to look like, I'm gonna start a new one for you actually, just so I can show you. I'm gonna drag in the wow filter here. So when you start out, it sounds like it looks like this, and it's a normal low pass filter, 12 decibel here, and that's not what we want. We want this to be a vowel filter, and a vowel filter means that it will make the sound talk. And you can see it's pretty funny actually. You can choose the letters here of what letter it's gonna sound like, but I think I used A and E, yes, as the default does. And what I did is I changed, here's different types of filter. Here's a high pass, band pass, calm filter, LF crusher, and I used a band reject because if you ask me, that sounds the best with the vowel thing. So next, you're just gonna play by ear, see how much you want of it, because you don't want too much of this, because it's a pretty recognizable filter actually, and people can pick it out, and too much of it doesn't really sound that good. So you're just gonna play around with the mix and the resonance, and you can add a little bit of overdrive distortion if you want to. And next thing is just the mapping. So all I did was mapping this cutoff thing, vowel cutoff, to here. And I might have inverted it. I'm not sure. I'm gonna look. Yes, I inverted it too. As you seen over here, vowel cutoff, no limitations, but I inverted it. So that's what I did, because it sounded better. I just use my ears when I make this kind of stuff. I don't have any rules to go from, but when it sounds good, maybe you can listen to it and use this in your sound. So that's pretty much all of it. Next, I used Ableton built-in amp. You can find it over here in the audio effects. Just turn the treble down a bit. I used a blues amp a little bit. Turn the dry wet halfway down, because it's really crunchy if you have it all the way up. A little bit of saturation. I do that on almost everything. Just put up the drive a bit. Nothing else changed here. And that's the sound. But what's really important about this sound is to modulate it. Because if you want this thing, you're gonna have to do this, which is basically modulating this macro back and forth. So I can make something like this for you. If you just look at me, I'm here. It's a MIDI clip. It's playing a D note here. And it's important to get in the right octave, because in other octaves it might sound really bad. So don't judge it before you've tried the different octaves, okay? So that's kind of cool sound, but it's not really good for a track. So let's just make some random stuff here. So here we have something. Let's copy my drums here. And of course you need sub bass too, because that does a lot. So I'm gonna copy just a D note here. So that's pretty much everything. Thank you for watching. Rate, subscribe, comment. Tell me if you want me to make something else, some other sound you want me to show you, or something. Check out my SoundCloud, LoFreak. Check out my release on Bomb Beats Inc. Funky Music EP. And take care.